Today I'm installing the Koso D2 digital gauge kit for 14 and up baggers. This gets rid of those factory bulky gauges, as you can see here on my 17 Road Glide. It's a very clean setup and very easy to install. Let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is remove this gauge housing which holds the factory gauges. I'll take this off, and the gauge bracket that holds it onto our risers. You will need a set of risers that accept the Koso gauge. This gauge is designed to fit the Lowrider ST and Street Bob style risers, which are typically called HUD risers, and that stands for heads up display. We make a HUD destroyer straight riser and HUD destroyer pullback riser with 1 inch of pullback for added comfort. Next, I'll install the harness that is supplied with the Koso gauge and plug it into the factory harness. If you already have a set of our destroyer risers, you do not have to buy a whole new set to make it a HUD system. You can purchase the clamp separately on our website at deathmetalracing.com. You'll need to pick up a gauge seal from your local Harley Davidson dealership and also 4 8-32 screws to hold the gauge in place. You could get that at your dealership or a local hardware store. I purchased my bolts from a local hardware store. It's also a good idea to get some washers for those bolts because the holes in the Koso gauges are quite large, and the bolts that I used would just go right through the holes on the gauge, so the washers were a necessity. Here I had my son hold the handlebars while I installed the clamp. You can go ahead and plug the harness into the Koso gauge while the clamp is off, but it's easily accessible and can be plugged in after you've installed the clamp. Either way will be fine. Tighten the riser clamp bolts to factory spec. Since we already had the gauges relocated on the risers initially, this took no more than 30 minutes to install. It was a very simple procedure. Wasn't hard at all. It was all plug and play, and it's a very nice, clean, sanitary look. So now we've got the gauge installed, risers. One thing that's not real clear in the instructions, it tells you to hit the button for 3 seconds to go through the different screens and set this thing up if you need to. But what it's referring to, you have to hold these for 3 seconds, and you'll see it goes into the setup screen, and you toggle through each function that you want to change with the trip button up here at the top. But that's just something that's not in the instructions. Some guys may know, may not, but anyway, just to save you from having to call Koso tech support, that may help you out in that. But you just hold the blinkers down for 3 seconds at the same time. It goes into the function screen, and you just go through each function and change everything out. And say I want to change the color of the screen. Let me get back to that. So this is the illumination, and I want to go into that. I have to hold down to the trip button for 3 seconds, and that'll go into the auto, which is the dimming, daylight, and night. Hit that again, change the day, night, automatic. We're going to leave that at automatic. So I'm holding on to that, use that setting, and now we're into the colors. First was white, orange, green, blue, indigo, purple. I'm going to stay with red, so I'll hold that down. That locks that in. One question we received a lot when we first posted this gauge on the website and on Instagram is, does the voltage gauge work and the fuel gauge? Yes, they both work. This is made for the baggers, so everything that you have on your factory gauges is retained with this gauge. Everything's functional, everything works. If you like the video, please click that like and subscribe button, and check us out at deathmetalracing.com or boostedbrad.com. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.